Okay, enough. But Taurus, different, huh? You're feeling different. For those of you with Taurus, especially Taurus risings, you may be feeling a shift in how you look, and you will feel that for a while, but you'll feel like radical changes, radical shifts, how you look, how you dress, how you feel, your appearances, your identity, how you relate with people, all of that. The sun signs, you might be feeling this as well, very similarly. And I don't think I'm ever going to change out of this outfit. Okay, so I'm doing it a little different this month. And so it's a spread I normally do. It is about that. I had to fidget a little longer. First card that fell out was the World card. And what I was saying before is that this spread is something I do with some clients and that I started with, which is called the Compass spread. It's something that I've infused together, and the first card out will be in the section of the body, and then you have the mind, the heart, the spirit, and then the center focus of the compass. So the first card that comes out for you for the body is the World. Again, change, expansion, closing of cycles. You're different. You're moving forward. And it might feel like abrupt to some people who don't know you and don't know what you're going through or don't know what you've been experiencing. And now they're going to know. Now they're going to understand. And you might, this communication, so this is in your mind, so this communication could simply be with just you showing up different. It doesn't necessarily have to be you talking to people. You will be explaining this to some people. You will be talking to some people. You might even be getting some opinions or talking to people that you've been wanting to talk to or you've been attracted to more, or just randomly like, oh, you feel this vibe, you're talking to them, cool. There's this very mutual energy that's going on for you this month. And it could also bring, so that radical change could also bring a different way of communicating, getting your point across. Mercury has entered Libra yesterday, so today's the 31st, the 30th, and it will be entering, Mars will be entering Libra on the 14th. This is the heart section. So for a lot of you, you're getting justice in the heart. So if you've had a hard time with love, there is going to be a rebirth of that. For some of you, it is a Libra who's in your heart. Then for others of you, it's maybe you're getting married in Libra season. There's actually a lot of interpretations for this, which isn't normally, it's usually pretty focused in Virgo season, but this is for a variety of you experiencing different things, because Taurus is like, you're experiencing the same thing just in different ways and change. For some of you, it's about putting an end to, maybe there's something in your heart that you've been not understanding why it keeps coming back up. It's a part of that cycle that's ending. So naturally it's in the body, so it's going to persist. In Virgo season, it does that. It makes you focus. It brings to light the one thing that you have, like, you look at sometimes, but not enough. It just like brings it to the forefront. So a lot of people in the beginning of the season got sick because in Leo season, out and about, doing whatever, vibing, not taking your care of yourself, maybe people needed you more. And you would think that would happen in Virgo season, but everyone needs Virgos and Libras in Virgo season. It's more of just you needing to do what you need to do now to recover. And to understand that whatever's showing up now is exactly the pinpoint, the root, the detail-oriented thing to shift the direction. And this might make you actually very harsh too. So Libra energy, the 3 of Pentacles, closing the cycle. Spirit section, Page of Wands, center focus is the Page of Cups, then Page of Wands. Here's the thing. You might be feeling playful, youthful. There might be things that you're maturing at, and that's a part of this cycle. For some of you, this is also legal matters. But the important thing this month is not to speak on something that you feel like you don't have enough information to share, or to not share too much of yourself when you're not ready to. You'll know that. You'll know those motions where you feel, and then you just pull back. You're like, not going to say that actually. And that will happen a lot this month, but the people that you will open up to, the people that you will talk to, it will just naturally become fluid. A lot of you can also be very frustrated this month. It's your fellow earth sign, but there's a lot happening. So this new moon in Virgo coming up, I think is very important for you to get clear of, like, knowing that how you talk to yourself in your mind this month is exactly what's going to be portrayed outside of yourself. So if you're not mentally stable, that's why justice is here. It's like, this is what you need in order to not do something that you'll regret later. Because Virgo season, like everyone else, I'm telling everyone else, this is, again, the world being expanded for you. It's expanded, but narrows it down to, like, what is actually the issue or what's needed in this month in order to allow that expansion to continue to occur. And which means, like, you're setting up for your future, essentially. So setting up for your future in this way, speaking what you need to source, the creator, because by Libra season, things will start to shift and you'll find fruition a little bit more. But this month is simply, it's going to be slower as opposed to a lot of months prior. This one is Virgo season breaks you down to build you up. So whatever needs to be broken down, whatever isn't built on a strong foundation, especially in the ways that you communicate and how you address certain issues with yourself and how you're communicating with other people this month, you're going to be maybe put in your place a little bit, or you're going to need to put other people in their place. So you may feel if you feel that sense of you're trying to force to get your point across, that's when you know it's not time. Because when it is, it'll be very easy to get your point across. So it's simple to say, like, start something like, I need to think about this more, or I need to sit with this longer. Because anything that wants to come out premature is not necessarily the avenue you want to go down right now. It's about finding that balance, about finding that sway of things with Mars and Mercury being in your fellow Venusian sign, so that by the end of the month, when we get into Libra season, it'll look a little different. The Venus is moving into Scorpio on the 10th. So that could also make you, it's the sign across from you, so it's your dual sign, or your opposing sign, Scorpio. And that is when you'll realize how you've handled the first part of the month, because it could feel really intense, confusing for some people, but if you allow it to work through you for at least the few days before Mars moves into Libra, it may feel deep, you don't know what's going on, but then once that shift happens, there's going to be a clarity, there's going to be some understanding of what's happening. And for a lot of you, this is very much about communication, how you're communicating with yourself, the world. You'll see it's like the list, that quintessential Virgo list that you run down this month of, like, how am I speaking to myself? How am I speaking to others? How are they communicating with me? What about the universe? What's happening there? My love life, my work life. How is this all connected? And how is it connected to the cycle that has been ending? And a lot of you, it's a cycle that has been ending over time, but Virgo season just brings it to a halt. And then you almost feel like you might be in a retrograde this month. I know last month was like a lot of that, like there's just so much. Then this month is kind of a recalibration. It's like with your opposite sign, with Virgo's opposite sign, Pisces, I was telling them to take a step back so that they can see with a bird's eye view. That for you is just for the ways that you're communicating. Because it's either all or you wait. So you might other people might provoke you this month, and it's really important for you to understand where they're coming from and where you're coming from right now, and to remember that. Simply. But the Justice card keeps calling, so I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more. You might not get the instant justice that you've been looking for something in particular that's been going on. So when cycles are ending, they officially end in the heart, which causes an emotional response. It doesn't always have to be crying. It's different things for different people. What is happening is you might be trying to be too logical. Again, the Libra placements, Virgo placements, they're, very in the mind. You might be being too logical about what's going on in your heart, and it just needs a break until those Libra placements come. Then that missing piece is going to connect to you. So whatever you're questioning in the beginning of the month, or the answers that you want, or whatever it is that you really, really feel like you need in the beginning of the month, is going to slowly air out will build up first, and you might feel like, I'm never going to find the answer. What the heck? This is this. I'm running into this. I'm running into that. But by the time the Libra placements start to move across, and towards the end of the season, you'll feel a sense of relief, and you'll begin to understand the bridge between what you've been asking, what you've been running into. So it's all kind of like, okay, Taurus, how are you going to handle this? Okay, Taurus, how are you going to handle this? I know it's not always easy, but do you want to continue to run on the wall, or are you just going to wait patiently until this kind of opens up for you to understand, or at least communicate, or at least be able to have a conversation about what's been going on? If there is a Libra in your life, there might be a lot of focus around that relationship right now. Or if you're in a situation with the justice system. For a lot of you, it's like everything will change once Libra season comes. It's just about what you need in order to get there. For others of you, it's this Libra that you might not be able to get off of your mind, and you really they come into your life. For some of you, it might be really a kismet connection, for real. The Page of Cups at the bottom being the Spirit is like, there are a lot of offers coming your way, but just know that in the beginning of the month, you might not be in the right mind to make any quick decisions. Again, everything's changing. Everything is changing. So this month actually does a lot, but it looks like it does nothing until a couple months down the road. Because what's expanding for you is understanding where it is that you need to, or where you can gain a lot from being more of a student this month, a student of yourself. Being a student of yourself this month is really important. That's what it is. Especially when it comes to your relationships, especially when it comes to communication, especially when it comes to all those things you're naturally good at. This month is still about being a student and getting really clear on the skill that you have to communicate what's important. But it's a lot about yourself. It's a lot about yourself. Because whenever you're going to a next place and next level, you're starting ground, like you may be moving up, but you're also starting at the ground at that place. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where you're at. All right, well, second part, we'll look at the cards. All information to work with me is below. And happy Virgo season. I'll see you next month, Taurus. Hi, Taurus. Okay, so this is the body section, and this is also, these four corners have the fixed signs. in them. So you may be feeling really in your body this month. You also may be feeling like you don't know what to do with it because there's so much potential. So these pages really, especially the wand, just there's so much potential. There's so much that you can start or begin. There's so much that you have started and you just maybe you don't know which way to go. For others of you, you're really ending a cycle, a big cycle that causes you to feel very youthful in certain ways, especially with how you might have viewed certain things. So this is the spirit section. So whatever it is that you're communicating about this month and everything that you're coming to terms with, and some of you are maybe going through some karmic lessons through the heart, because ending of cycles really, it sounds wonderful and some people explain it as a wonderful thing, but the end of a cycle, even if it's a joyful thing, there sometimes is pain to it. And that's, Virgo, Libra is like, even though there's so much joy and there's so much to be happy about sometimes, and depending on where you're at in your life, there's the ending of something is something dying. And for those two signs specifically, even if you don't have that in your chart, there's a lot. Mercury, Mars in Libra, Venus is in Libra right now and will be going into Scorpio on the 10th. So you're maybe just feeling it intensely in that way. And it's really important that you understand that. And anytime you come to a place of like, you feel like you want to say something, but you don't, it's like, that you shouldn't, just have a conversation with yourself. Anyone who knows me knows I talk out loud to myself. I mean, I'm doing this right now to a camera, So, well, to you Tauruses. So there will be people in your life that you need to tell this to. The people that you're close to, the people that know you well, the people that you're communicating with every day, even if it's at work. This is something that I learned through trainings of conscious communication. But also just it makes sense. It's like when you go into a situation, if you're going into work and you're feeling some type of way, but it's no one else's issue, it's your own, you can tell someone, especially if you have to communicate with them throughout the day and you just can't hide it. Libras are really coming to a place where like they're not hiding things anymore. They're just being exactly who they need to be in that moment. So they're not overly extending their energy. And Virgos are in a similar place, and they struggle with that because they can come off a lot more harsh than they mean to. So, that's kind of where you'll be at this month, is about how you're choosing to communicate, how people are interpreting how you're communicating, whether it's your actions or your words. And because we have someone speaking of value, and we talked a lot about that last month, but then we have the Libra card here in the heart, you really want to make sure that what you're saying makes sense to you. And for those of you who might say things you don't mean, you just have to know that the repercussions come back in Libra season. So when Mercury goes retrograde by the end of the month. So you just have to know that. But what I was getting to was, when you communicate with someone right off the bat, like if you work next to someone, closely with someone, again, working with people, like I was saying before, like I go from place to place sometimes, is that if you let them know right off the gate, like, hey, I'm feeling some type of way today. It's not you, it's me. So if I come off any type of way, or if I don't feel like talking extra today or whatever, just know that like I'm just here. And a lot of times that clears up space and even allows that energy to disintegrate even more, which relieves yourself, because you're relieving yourself from holding yourself together. Instead of saying, hey, this is where I'm at today, just letting you know, it clears up a space of guessing. It clears up a space of a potential argument. You could still have an argument from it, but I just feel like if anything, you could just say those few simple things, and things can be handled with ease. The guidance this month, though, is to have fun. Don't commit yourself to anything you can't see yourself doing long term. Have fun and be open to different potentials of energy coming your way. And also, if you feel too strongly about or too attached to a sign, just know that it's probably just there to test you. and it might just be the fish jumping back out into the water. So anything that you feel too forcibly pulled or attached to, you just want to take a step back with this month. You don't want to go full force into it. It may not be beneficial, but again, that Mercury retrograde will then make it clear. But for a lot of you, I do feel like you are expressing some things through the end of the cycle. You have major realizations this month. That's why I also say, like, just take a Libra seat, like, observe, let your heart observe everything, because the closing of cycle, different things coming at you, people needing your attention, there needs to be some type of balance in your body, in your heart, in your mind. So that having fun, that playfulness is going to be really important, especially if you are paired with a Libra and they're in a really playful place this month for the most part, even though emotions are like swaying. That may be a great person to connect with. Also, it's just setting you up for Libra season. That these closing of cycles are this ending, and some of you may have to communicate with a partner. Some of you may be having a change of heart. Some of you may have to say some things that make you feel like a little kid. You may have to reject someone or turn people down for work, which is a beautiful thing to be able to do. So being grateful for that as well. But essentially, Virgo season already wants you to focus on Libra season just as a reminder that the Mercury retrograde will throw back in your face rather quickly. Unfortunately, or anyone who acts too quickly this month, especially between the 10th and the 14th, and your opposing sign of Scorpio will be in Venus. So you want to know that that's just going to make things a little foggy, confusing for a moment, and also probably intensify how you feel. But this closing of cycle may cause your heart to feel some type of way, so just have boundaries with yourself. I just heard a really loud horn. Seriously, let the horn out if you need to. Let the horns out if you need to. But just know that remember, every decision you make leads up to that point. So taking ownership of that. Especially when it comes to this relationship, if you are ending a relationship, just know this person may not take it the best, and it's really important to own up to whatever side you need to take. I see it being an easy ending for some of you. Libra season is going to have different insight especially towards the end of the month. Mercury retrograde is going to bring great insight, especially if you had that bumpy moment this month, because either way, it's going to bring a lot of character for you and a lot of great foretelling for you that you may share in the future. Okay, Taurus? This is your September Virgo season reading. I will see you next month, and all information to work with me is below. I love you.